It was a few days before the summer break at my school. My parents told me that I could have a few friends stay over on Friday to celebrate. Friday will be our last day of school. My parents arranged to have a night out, first for a meal, and then to see a show over at the theatre. There would only be a few hours, but it would give us teens a few hours to just do whatever we wanted, with no parents around. Wednesday at school and on lunch break, I meet up with my best of friends to tell them about the sleepover that's on Friday. Everyone gladly accepts the invitation, and we begin to chat about which movies we will watch, and so forth. That night back at home, I tell my mother that 3 of my friends will be coming for the sleepover. She kindly adds that she will leave us some money so we are able to order a takeout instead of cooking something for ourselves and causing an incident. It is now Friday, and I have just gotten home from school. I have 3 friends coming over for the sleepover: Kate, Paige, and Zoe. They will arrive sometime after 6:30 p.m. My parents will be leaving for their night out around 7:30 p.m. Some time passes by and I hear a knock on the front door. I run to the door, excited that this should be my friends here now. I open the door and there they stand. I welcome them inside. We go to my bedroom to store my friends' belongings that they have brought with them, pyjamas, clothes, and so on. We go downstairs and I ask who's hungry. Everyone replied that they were. I got my mother to ring through the order for us. We ordered 2 large pizzas and a few portions of French fries, which would be plenty of food for us to eat for the night. Our food was delivered before my parents left the house. We sat in the living room to watch some TV as we ate, and shortly after, my parents left for their evening out. They would return home by midnight at the latest, my mother told me. It was around 9:30 p.m. We were just getting started with a movie when there was a knock on my door. I ignored it, but the knocking continued. I then headed towards the front door. I opened it with the latch remaining on. I was aware that there was only a few teenage girls in the house, so opening the door fully to somebody was probably a bad idea. Outside of my front door stood a middle-aged man, very grubby and dirty looking. He asked if I had seen his dog nearby the area as it had ran away from him as he was leaving his home. I said no, sorry, I have not. Could I take a look in your backyard? He replied. The only way into my backyard was through my house. Now I was stuck for a response. I knew I was never going to let him in, and I didn't want to alert him to the fact that there was no adults in the house. You can't get into our backyard, I replied, hoping for the best. Well, could I come through and take a look? He said. Now I'm really finding this weird. How could his dog be in my backyard when there is no entrance anywhere but from within my house? I now felt like I was in danger, like he just wanted to get into my home. I told him that my parents would not be happy about him coming through the house. Where are your parents? Could I talk with them? He replied. My heart is racing now, and I am scared, but I tried to stay calm on the outside. I explained my mother was in the bath and my father was at the store and would be back sometime soon. He then smiled and said very creepily, "Alright then, I'll come back soon." I closed the door and thought to myself, oh no. I immediately explained the situation to my friends. We decided we would turn off all the lights and close all of the curtains, and if he came back, we would just ignore him. It got to around 11 p.m. The creepy man had not come back. We had all eased up and become less paranoid. Therefore, all the lights were now switched back on. 11:15 p.m. and there was a loud banging now on the front door. The panic settled right back inside of me again. Not this again, I thought. I tried to phone my parents with no luck, as they're probably in the theatre right now. The banging grew more violent on the front door, and he's now shouting, "You have my dog, you better open up." I begin to dial for the police when I hear him say through the letterbox, "You're a liar. Nobody returned to this house." Had he been watching my house this whole time? I think he knew my parents were indeed not inside the house. The numbers to the police had just been dialed in when the glass on the front door shatters. I hear screams from my friends and I drop the phone due to shock. The window isn't big enough at all to fit through, but the keys are still in the lock from the inside. I run without hesitation to grab them, but he had beaten me to it and pulled out the keys from the lock. We were trapped inside the house with no way to escape from the backyard. He would unlock the door any second now. Thank God the latch was still on the door. This would buy us some time, but not much. This would be a game of hide and seek now, with a psychopath. I tell my friends to run with me upstairs to the bathroom. The man was now there with the door open, but with the latch still on. He begins ramming through the door trying to break the latch. We lock ourselves in the bathroom and we all put our weight onto the door. It's all down to fate now. If he gets in, it won't be long until he finds us and breaks through this door too. I truly start to believe we will die in a few minutes, or somebody will be taken by this man. I grab the only sharp tool to hand, a small pair of scissors. I should have grabbed a knife from the kitchen, but I was in flight mode and didn't think at the time of being downstairs. It all happened very quickly. The next second we hear the door being booted open. The latch must have finally snapped. This is it, I thought. I just hugged my friends. There was nothing we could do now. It seemed like a few minutes until we heard him begin to walk up the stairs. I thought of how all our belongings, included our mobile phones, were in my bedroom. Damn it, I thought. I could have gotten them if I'd have just thought instead of panicking. But nevertheless, it was too late now. We hear him searching around for us. He tries to open the bathroom door next. It's locked, and he knows we're in here. He begins kicking the door harder and harder. The wood is beginning to crack. All four of us now trembling and crying. We're done for. The kicking stops just as he is almost through. What the heck? I thought. Then a voice shouts loudly, "On the ground, now! Now!" We hear movements, then a knock on the door. "Police," the voice speaks. I'm so relieved, and open the door to see armed police officers in my house, and the man being taken away. It turns out the police on the line had heard everything from the moment I dialed and dropped the phone. I forgot I never hung up the call. They quickly matched the phone number to my address and sent a squad out immediately. The rest of the night was very emotional. We owed the police our lives, and they made sure we were safe until my parents got home. Nowadays, I still have sleepovers, but of course my parents never leave me in the house anymore. That night will always haunt me and my friends.